Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto, or should I say good evening, because it's a little bit late that I'm making this video. But we're going to be talking about the markets. It's quite a crucial update, I'd say, even though the price action over the course of today, to be completely fair, hasn't been that exciting. Which I would say is good, but we'll talk about that later. There's quite a lot I want to talk about. We'll start off with the general financial markets. How are they looking? Then we'll talk about some fundamentals for the crypto markets specifically, and Bitcoin specifically as well. Then we'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll talk about altcoins, right? So we'll take a look at the others chart, which is the total altcoin market cap, excluding the top 10, so excluding Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, etc. So that gives you a good idea of altcoins in general, which is at a very interesting level at this point of time. We'll talk about XRP, Ethereum, and then maybe some other altcoins. But I'll have to look. I mean, at this point of time, I would not, with the markets being this correlated, I would not advise you to trade altcoins too heavily. But yeah, let's get right into it. So ultimately, the fundamentals around the markets are fine. The stock market is relatively stable right here. The volatility index is relatively stable. Gold is stable. So there's no increased unrest, or at least the market at this point of time thinks that's not the case. And there's also no bearish pressure coming from the equity markets. Now, ultimately, we have seen bearish pressure, but that was mostly yesterday. And that was also why I said, you know, I don't mind this stability we found over the course of today. I mean, ultimately, yes, would I have preferred a breakout above 107,000? Certainly, right? That would have been much nicer. But this is normal price action for a Friday, right? You can see right here that the open interest over the course of today has continued to decline. If we check out the data, which I don't have right now, but if we take a look at the data for Bitcoin specifically, Friday is normally bearish. Right, Friday is usually a day where big position holders close their positions. Most big position holders over the course of the last month have obviously been long. So then, you know, holding the main support level we have at 105,000. It's not too bad. Now, does that mean that we're completely in the clear? No, definitely not, because on the 4-hour time frame, as I've said for the last 2 days, we have lost the uptrend, right? So we do need to get some momentum soon. We have hit the 12-hour uptrend right here. The daily uptrend is much lower, towards 101,000. But that means that short term, as long as we haven't found strong support, or strong volume, which at this point of time we haven't. Today, like I said, was very quiet, and that's also including the volume. Unless we have found some sort of strong support, I will have to say that I think it's most likely we're going to drop down lower. With the first support level being the 30-day rolling VWAP at 103.8, and then after that there's mild support at 102.5, but the major support is at just below 101,000. Which, a little bit of a secret here in the middle of the video, I have my limit orders set up. Do I think we're going to drop down there? No, not necessarily, but if we do, I want to buy, right? So that's kind of the idea behind that. But no, so that means, you know, on the 4-hour time frame, I think we are still bearish. On the higher time frames, I think we are still bullish, but that doesn't mean that we cannot drop down lower. And on the lower time frames, I'm not seeing any strength. So therefore, I'm telling you, and that's why I think it's most likely that we will continue to drop down lower. And then the main level to reclaim, if we actually want to see some more strength, is 107,000. But given the weakness, or at least the lack of strength over the course of today, I would say it's most likely that we will push down lower. And like I said, main support level is 103.8, and then afterwards around 102.5. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin. Now, like I said, if we're taking a look at altcoins are at a very interesting level, all right? Because this is the others chart, and what you can see is right now we are at that major support level right here, which is in general very respected. We also have the 90-day rolling VWAP there. It's $250 billion, which is a bit of a psychological level, which matters as well. So do I think this is a great time to buy altcoins? In the end, it depends on the altcoin, right? But generally, at this point of time, until we have broken this level, I do think we will bounce from here. So yes, I am leaning towards saying that this is a good area to buy into altcoins. But you do have to be selective, right? It's very possible as well that we first spike down before we ultimately find support and rally back up to the yearly rolling VWAP. And it remains a risk, right? Especially with the lower time frames on Bitcoin being relatively weak. Now, when we're talking about some specific altcoins right here, first of all, starting with the negative, XRP, not looking great, has bounced right now from strong support, and I do think ultimately the area between 2.15 and 2.05 will hold, but similar to Bitcoin, there's a lack of bidding, lack of bullish momentum coming from support. So even though I do expect stability in this area right here, I don't expect a rally, unfortunately. While for Ethereum, that is a different story. Ethereum is actually holding on very, very well. And even though on the lower time frames, we have dropped down below the 7-day rolling VWAP and the value area high right here at 2615. I think Ethereum, that's a lot of THs. I think Ethereum actually has a chance to rally up higher if it's able to get some volume going, get a breakout above 2620, and maybe get rid of some more open interest. I think we can rally perhaps in the weekend or early next week. Definitely one to keep your eyes on. Now, lastly, talking about some altcoins, like I said, most altcoins are correlated to Bitcoin, so I would stay away from that. There's a couple of manipulated altcoins such as LivePeer. Yeah, there's not much I'd like to talk about at this point of time regarding altcoins. Maybe to talk about a major coin. Solana, I think there's an opportunity there if we reclaim 164.5. So keep your eyes on that. But that's ultimately it for now. I'll be back with more updates in the weekend tomorrow. So hopefully I'll see you there. But for now, have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend in advance. Consider subscribing if you're interested in these market updates if you're not subscribed already, which would be a shame. But for now, like I said, have a great weekend. Take care and bye.